This is how I use a fixed range volume profile anyways. If you only want to drop one, you can drop one, but I drop more than one. Because I'm hardcore like that. So, what are your long and short tools here? Scroll over or down if you're on a computer. So, fixed range volume profile. You just want to mark a range. So, like, check out these highs, see? Boom. And then these lows. Boom. It's a range. Good enough for me. Bang. There's one. And you can isolate ranges too. Like if you want to do a shorter, smaller range, I could just take this top here. Boom. And then if I want to isolate this range, like this move or whatever. Boom. Boom. See, it lines up with that other one pretty good. But anyway, bang. Then you can zoom in. You can isolate different ranges. Like on lower time frames. So like I could go to the 4 hour if I want to focus on the day. Like honestly, these macro ones are good. Nothing wrong with it. For curiosity, let's mark this. Let's mark this. POC. Make it the same color. Oh, bang! What do you know, eh? Boomski. And this value area high. Let's put that there. That alert. Oh, it rejected off the old range's value area high. Magic, eh? Magic. Anyway, 4 hour. So, for intraday, I usually do 24 hours. Like, I'll do a 24-hour FRVP. Then I'll do like a weekly FRVP and a monthly FRVP. But I already did those macro ones, so I'm probably covered for that monthly, daily, blah, blah, blah stuff. Or monthly, weekly ones. So anyways, let's do a daily one. So today's the what? 20 or the 15th. So we'll go back. Oh, that's not that far, bro. Whatever. Anyways, do 24 hours. That's what I've learned from like some stock traders and shit. So go to the. You could do 2 days or whatever. Like, let's just start at Monday. Let's do that. Boom. Get some data in this puppy. There, look at that. It's reacting off value area low. Like, pretty decent right now. And you can mess with it if you want to isolate this a little bit here. See, it's under value area low, rejecting off it. Well, potentially. It's a 4 hour candle, so like, there's still an hour, so who knows which way. Let's go down here. Yeah, typically you'd be looking for longs down here, especially with this here. It's right by this order block, eh? In this fair value gap. But yeah, that's one way to add fixed range volume profiles to your toolbox. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. But market does what it wants, bro. It could go down here. It could go here. See, this would be a good point here to test, probably. Because of the support. Old resistance, flip support right here. Here, I'll draw a box. So so you know what I'm talking about. Let's freestyle these things, bro. I don't like fucking having a like script, you know? I'm gonna flip the script on the game here. Anyways, so old resistance, flip support for this move up right here. If you wanna, no, I'm just gonna halfway it, cause that gets lots of candles in right there. Something like that. But if we're really bullish, this is another good point. If we're really, 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 really bullish, it might not tap this. It might not even tap this. Or go this deep into this little cluster. It might just tease it, like right here. Cause see this last little point where it reacted here? Let's move our blocks there. Just for fun. Just to see something here. Boom. It's in line with this. That's good. That's good. That's good. Lots of times price action will go down and tap these little peaks like that. Because it was old resistance. Then it flipped support. Boom. So it may and probably, very possibly, could go back to retest this before continuation. So it's a pretty good spot to put some entries. 220. And if you want to be safe, you can ladder in. If you don't want to miss the move, ladder in, bro. And we can pull fib too for confluence. Let's get a fib on this mother lover. Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. I don't use fibs lots. It's probably like right here at the beginning. Okay. So you can go from this low or this low or whatever you want to do. But I'm going to go from this low because it's the start of the move up here. So let's track that. Bang, bang. Oh, look. Golden pocket. In line with the support and resistance that we were talking about. And remember the box was down here before. So that's juicy. But I'm going to keep it where I want it. I'm going to keep it right there. So that's a pretty good level, I'd say. Now, let's check the 4 hour. I'm going to throw a trend line on this puppy. I hope I'm loud enough this time. Everyone said I was quiet last time. They said I was too quiet. Okay, here we go. Bingo bango. Bingo bango. Shout out to T.I. Joe. Okay, check it out. That ain't hitting shit. Let's do another one. But anyways, so this is a good example actually for trend lines. So see how I was following this trend line? But then buying pressure increased. So then momentum increased. So then now it's deviating further away from the trend line. So one could either draw a new trend line if you don't like adjusting old ones. Because it's good to leave old ones because you want to see what happens in the future, right? You want to see if price comes back to hit levels. And these are bullish, so let's make them green, baby. Boom. Now we got some confluence here. Look at this. Oh, beautiful. Right on that golden pocket there with that support and resistance. That's a pretty good level. I'd say it's a good level. So like I was saying before, if you don't want to miss the move and you're not confident because you're not psychic and the market does what it wants, you can ladder in with like split your position. If your position's like 4%, say, you can do like 1%, 2%, or you can do 1%, 1%, or you can do like 2%. So for this example, let's just do what I like to do. And like, there's always a trade. You don't have to be greedy, man. Like if you only have 1% in, big deal. It's better than putting 10% in and losing a big chunk. And if you win on 1% a bunch of times, it adds up and compounds. And then you're balling. So that's my first entry. Second entry would be on this 618 and in this old resistance flip support box that we tossed over here. It also lines up with this trend line touch. Well, assuming it touches it. Or it could tease it. Either way. Boom. Second entry. Target the highs. Stop loss below the pocket. There. That's two entries. You could do 2%, 2%. But if you want to be even more safe, if you don't like taking losses, and you don't mind being in drawdown, you don't cry about it, you don't get shaken out easily like a little bish, you can do this. The first two would be 1%, 1%, and then you could toss a juicy Hail Mary here. Your final 2%. All your stop losses go there. There. So by the end of it, after your first two entries hit, this one, then this one, that would average your position in halfway between, because you're doing 1%, 1%, that's equal. So it would average your entry in half. So it would be from here in between both entries, halfway between them, roughly. So like, let's just roughly do it by eye. There, 50%. So now, I'll just put an alert for now, just to make this video. So that would be your entry upon the second one hitting on this 618. But if the third one hit, it would be halfway between that and the final entry, because now you have 2% in at this point on this box, 2% in by here. So then this would be your final 2%, 2%, 2%, halfway between the two. Eye it up again. So let's eye it up. Actually, we can eye it up with the actual setup box to see what our risk would be like, so that we can calculate and see if we're like out to lunch or not. Boom. Target the highs. Stop losses there. What's the risk to reward on that? 4. Boom, you're good to go. 3% on an alt. On sol, that's probably, it's a little wide, but it's not horribly wide. That looks like a little more than half. Maybe not. Let's check it. Grab my measuring tool here. Boom. Measure. Ooh, that's pretty good for an eyeballing. Wonder where I got those skills from. We don't need to talk about that though. Anyways, so your final setup box would be that. So then you can calculate blah blah blah. Make sure you're only risking 1%, right? In there for that 3%. But yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions and stuff. Like, sub, all that, share, whatever. And these are just warm-up vids on my cell phone. I'm building a computer this month. I'm going to go ham. I'm going to pump out a lot of content. So happy printing.